problem? Do you find it hard to sleep because you loathe writing? Does your body shiver when you hear the word writing? Does your mind go totally blank when you have to write? Can you just not focus on writing? Solution! Just remember these tips. So first, let's look at overcoming your fear of writing. Here's a quote that says, "Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear." So tip number 1 is, take a few really deep breaths. Slowly exhale completely and then inhale completely. You will feel calmer, I promise. Tip number 2 is, reward yourself after you have reached a certain point. Take a break or call someone you love. Just make sure that your break doesn't eat up the rest of the time that you had set aside for writing. And don't wait until every last detail is done before you take a brief time out. You can still celebrate when the job is complete. Tip number 3 is, schedule time for writing every day. You cannot wait until you have time to sit down and write. You and I both know that there are always other things you could do. If you must finish a writing task, then reserve an hour or so in each day's schedule during which you do nothing but write. Try to schedule your writing time at a time of the day when you are most alert. Tip number 4, just do it. Sit down and write during the time you schedule, whether you want to or not. Don't stop to edit, criticize yourself, or create fantasies about the person who assigned you this job. Just do it. Remember, many people think that they are the only ones who are nervous about writing, or that professional writers who are good with language have an easier time of it. Not true. The main difference between people who write successfully and those who write unsuccessfully is how they respond to their anxiety and resistance. Now let's look at how to get off the writer's block. So here's a quote that says, "Start writing no matter what. The water does not flow until the faucet is turned on." So tip number 1 is that use free writing. Begin by writing whatever comes into your mind. For example, you might begin by typing, "I can't think of anything to write. My teacher is going to kill me if I don't finish this by today, and my head feels like a block of granite." After a few lines, your brain will probably kick into gear, and you will start writing what you're supposed to write. Tip number 2, retype a few previous pages or lines. So if you're writing a new section of a long essay, go back to the last paragraph or line you wrote most recently, and begin by retyping these. This will give you a running start onto the next section. Tip number 3, if you are tired, rest. Sleep deprivation dulls the brightest wit. Take a short nap and then look at your project again. Tip number 4, get some exercise. A brisk walk, run, or swim will clear your mind or spirit. Tip number 5, reread your information sources. A new idea may strike you. Tip number 6, remind yourself of your purpose, your key reader, and your core idea. You may feel re-inspired. Tip number 7, discuss the project with someone you trust. Speaking with a friend will bring you back into the flow of your subject. It will also relieve the loneliness that comes from working alone fruitlessly. Now let's look at procrastination. The urge to procrastinate strikes everyone. The trick is to not let that urge control your actions. So here's a quote that says, "If I waited till I felt like writing, I would never write at all." Tip number 1 is, break the task into manageable chunks. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Writing a 5-paragraph essay or a 100-page report may seem overwhelming, but drafting an outline or filling in a small section of the outline seems manageable. Create many internal goals and hack away at them one by one. Tip number 2, just say no to the inner child. Sure, you need to be able to listen to your inner child, but sometimes you have to tell it to just shut up. If your procrastination is getting out of control, your inner parent may need to have a little talk with your inner child. Remember, the inner child is the voice in your head who seems to be jumping around saying, "I can't write until I have more cookies." The inner adult is the one who says, "Forget it, you can stop working when you have finished this section of the essay." Well, that's it for now.